What's up, guys? So after watching the first two game theory videos on Five Nights at Freddy's, I'm back to take a look at FNAF 3, which I do think is gonna be the conclusion for the initial storyline, because I do see the first three games as a trilogy, and we're gonna find out all the details. Let's go. He will come back. Oh, he always does. Dude. What? Bro! Okay. What? You okay? Hello? Bro, look, okay, bro, is this scary, or these are kind of like model poses, though? Okay, man, that's an interesting beginning. Oh.
It's time.
Dude, I don't even know. Okay, game theory, press start, let's go. We're gonna go through the intro. I guess the real, this intro. We already had the creepy intro. Okay, that was really, it's very over the top, of course. We're all here to have fun. Okay, man. Let's go. But before we start, hopefully that was perfect timing. I do think that was like a reference to the trailer, I think, of FNAF 3, like it says like always coming back, which I assume is like Purple Guy, right? Purple Guy is always kinda returning to do some killing, cause
Hello,
why?
Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, where good things, or at least FNAF things, come to those who wait. And man, when it comes to this game series,
I mean, I did wait a long time, man, to get into this stuff.
no one was waiting for anything. I mean, the second
Wait,
game
what?
came out 3 months after the first.
True.
The trailer for the third was 2 months later, and like 4 minutes after that, the game was available to download.
Yeah, it was kinda crazy
So forgive
back
me
then.
if I was caught with my pants down on that one. I just wasn't prepared for it. But even more impressive than that abbreviated timeline was your ability to rip that final game apart.
I mean-
hours after the release of the
Look at that, man. Plot summary. So people already 1 month ago, I guess maybe 1 month before this video. I mean, but I like FNAF 3 because FNAF 3 is like where the story is kind of laid out to you. If you find all the secrets and stuff, which I really think is cool.
game, people were discussing good versus bad endings, 8-bit Atari cake, glitching through walls, and punching a flipping code into cement bricks arranged like a telephone dial
That's a little
pad.
silly,
In
to be
regards to
fair.
that last one, I have 2 things to say. First off, well done to you guys for figuring it out so quickly, and secondly, Scott, seriously. Seriously, Scott? Oh, look, here's a wall. Let me just dial in my phone number. Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, boop. What?
Yeah.
When did we jump from a point-and-click horror game to magical fantasy? This thing is like platform 9 3/4. I expect Harry effing Potter to apparate
it
into
was
Pirate's Cove or
kinda cool,
something.
though.
Jeez,
It
here I
was
was
kinda
thinking
cool,
that
I
you
won't
plug
lie.
your numbers into, the one other place that you see numbers in this game, the bonus jump scare menu, or something, anything. But nope, dialing it into a wall.
I mean, to be fair, it is like the only wall that has like the nice style like area. You got the number there. You know, it I don't know. It like I didn't find it myself, so I can't really criticize it. But I just found it so hilarious, like ridiculous. It was kind of funny.
Makes so much more sense. Okay. Sorry, just needed to get that one off my chest.
Fair
Moving on.
enough.
Now, with 15
Okay,
days at
let's
Freddy's
go.
under our belts and a few overtime hours clocked
Dude, I was like 15 days. I had to think way too long. Okay,
in for
fair.
good measure,
Well
we
played.
have ourselves a completed video game trilogy, with the third game giving us more jump scares, more phone guy, and more
Lore.
fan. But
Sorry,
this game
man.
also contains the final clues we need to get some closure on this game's deviously vague story. Scotty C certainly didn't make things any easier for us, but at this point I think we finally
I don't know. I do think this one gives you like the answers though, which I think like I'm almost like I would be like really excited if I were game theory back then. You know, I would be like everything maybe that I kind of thought. Most of the things were kind of correct.
have enough puzzle pieces scattered across the 3 games to assemble a fairly accurate picture of this franchise's lore. Since you guys had a, let's just say, above average interest
Hell
in this
yeah.
theory, I wanted to create something that answered as many questions as possible about this franchise. But beyond just the details, the question we all want an answer to is, what exactly happened in the story throughout this series? It's a pretty fundamental question to not have an answer to, and yet, despite thousands of videos,
Oh my God,
forum
with a
entries,
chica.
and Tumblr posts,
Well, wait,
Whoa, hey, put that away.
I paused at the wrong moment. I
Behave
didn't.
yourself. This game is already scary enough without you sticking your hook somewhere it doesn't belong. Okay?
Okay, I wanted to pause for the other stuff, man.
Hey, despite all
okay.
those things,
No, I didn't.
we
I
still
never
don't have a
ignore
clear
me.
picture on the details. Yes, there's a child killer on the loose, the infamous purple guy, who's been using Fazbear pizzerias as his hunting ground of choice for years, but going
For
into the
some
third
reason.
game, we still weren't sure about who this guy was or even how many victims he'd officially taken.
Oh my
then
God.
there are the animatronics. Sure, we generally understand that
That's, dude, I don't know. Like, I feel like that should be, you know, the first game was like the animatronics are scary, but then as the trilogy, as the franchise goes on, you find out like humanity is the true villain, you know, the human is the bad guy. But I don't know, like the animatronics, like snapping their necks and looking at you, I feel like that should happen more, man, in the games. That's so cool.
the killer's dead bodies have been stuffed into some of the suits, and that with the help of the puppet, the kids were able to find new life in those robotic bodies. But then, what about Shadow Bonnie and Shadow Freddy, who randomly appeared in FNAF 2 only to become prominent figures throughout Part 3? How do they fit in?
Oh my God, jumps. I apologize. Shadow Bonnie. Did I meet those people? I'm not actually sure.
What about the ghostly Golden Freddy? Someone we've been talking about since the first game, and yet we still don't really know anything about him. Well, now that we finally
okay.
have all the facts, I think it's time we revisit my timeline I presented in the last episode to see
Yes,
what I
please.
got right, what I got wrong. Yes,
Oh
you
my
heard that. Wrong. No shame. I'm a big boy. Mommy, wow, I'm a big kid now. And finally
What the
fill in
hell's
the
the
missing
editing, man?
details to create what I believe to be my definitive Five Nights theory. And
Hell
boy,
yeah, man. This is the theory to end all theories. We don't have any more after this
Boy,
one.
howdy, it is a doozy. So strap in, theorists. You wanted it, you're about to get it.
Okay.
Overall, the timeline of the franchise I presented in the last video still holds strong. Decades before the name became a horror legend meriting its own theme park style attraction, Freddy Fazbear got his start at Fredbear Family Diner.
Okay, the diner, we have food. Gravity Fall. Wait, Wait, is this real? Or is this just Photoshop? Wait, Gravity Falls? Is just like a location, or is this like the series? Wait, I'm confused. I don't. Wait, I just assumed this was like official. Is it?
It's
Maybe
here
it
where our
is.
story
I don't
begins
know.
as Purple Guy takes his first victim. Something we see in the Take Cake minigame from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. What
Yeah.
tells us that this is Fredbear's and first in the timeline? Well, as I said last time, in addition to it being a small space, the only character we see is Freddy, whereas all other minigames feature multiple animatronics.
But I don't know if I mentioned that last time. Why is the puppet here though? Is the puppet part of the diner, or was the spirit just kind of possessing the Freddy and then jumped out of Freddy into the puppet once the puppet, or maybe the puppet was like for some reason in the Fredbear diner?
He's also holding a cupcake. Since that would later become Chica's signature item, the
Hello,
event
Chica.
depicted in this game must have come before she was created. Additionally, notice that the purple guy's murder takes place outside the building. This is the only time we see him murder someone outside the walls of a
Okay.
Fazbear building, which implies that this is likely his first victim. Serial killers often have what's known as a signature, a way of killing that's unique to him and him alone. For Purple Guy, his signature is
Stuffing?
dressing in an animatronic costume, then luring children to the back of the pizzeria and killing them there.
Or not the stuffing. Okay, I felt like the stuffing would be like the calling card.
But this murder occurs before he developed this particular style, implying that it's the first. From there, we know that the puppet jump scare that
yeah.
always follows this minigame, combined with the tier design on both the dead child and the puppet's mask, implies that the soul of the first child now exists in the puppet. The event
Okay.
caused the original owners to sell the Fredbear name, who then rebranded and avoided the negative PR, becoming what we know today as Fazbear Entertainment. They then opened a new chain of restaurants, which we never saw in the games until the release of Five Nights 3.
Really? There's no... I actually don't remember if the game says, like, hey, this is the original. I thought it was a new building, or maybe it's just like a newspaper. I don't know.
This is not Fredbear Diner like many interpret, but rather the first location of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, predating the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Okay.
How do we know? Well, by paying close attention to the old recordings of Phone Guy dug up in FNAF 3, he introduces us to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, not Diner, before explaining the functionality of the special spring lock suits.
Okay.
Welcome to your new career as a performer/entertainer for Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Right now we have 2 specially designed suits that double as both animatronic and...
Dude, like this is the reason why I never really understood like the timeline and stuff, like when playing the games, because the phone recordings, because like when is the recording happening, how long ago, like all these questions and you don't really get answers. I was just unable to like clue everything, piece everything together. Okay, like now, and that's why like they constantly, like the phone person constantly talks about like the spring suit or whatever. And okay, interesting, dude. Bonnie and Freddy, huh? The OGs. And maybe the puppet, that's kind of cute.
He also lets us know that the animatronics are still allowed to walk around freely during the day, meaning that this is happening before the bite of 87, in which an animatronic bites someone during business hours, removing their frontal lobe and resulting in the animatronics being restricted to moving around only at night.
For ease of operation, the animatronics are set to turn and walk towards sound heat.
As Phone Guy informs us, and as we see in the Stage 01 minigame, there are 2 specialty suits, a Golden Bonnie suit and the origins of the infamous Golden Freddy.
I also, dude, it's so creepy. I never realized, like, the Golden Freddy, of course. Like, that's also, like, when you play the game, I always just assume, there's also, like, the balloon stuff. Was the balloon boy or whoever, right? Also part of that, I assume? Like, I never made those connections, man. That's pretty cool, though.
But the lifespan of these spring-lock suits is actually short-lived as we learn about their one fatal flaw.
After learning of an unfortunate incident at the sister location involving multiple and simultaneous spring-lock failures, the company has deemed the suits temporarily unfit for employees. The classic suits are being retired to an appropriate location.
Now, let's pause here. 2 employees are killed by the failure of a Bonnie suit and a Freddy suit. Where else in the game do we see Bonnie and Freddy sharing a unique feature that no one else in the game possesses?
I gotta think. Bonnie and Freddy. I mean, there's only 2 games, so...
Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie.
Okay, man, okay. And those are the ghosts of the employees, or
Could
what?
this be the origin of the paranormal Shadow suits? Yes, actually. Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie are tied to the ghosts of the employees who died in the spring suits. Get this, the employees' bodies were taken out of the suits, which is why their appearance is more paranormal and why they can't possess them as well as the children.
But wait, it shouldn't be... But because that's not the employee. But wait, no, Golden Freddy... But there's also the children? Shadow? Okay. Are they the same? Were they remade?
Plus, having this as their origin would explain the in-game behavior of both suits. In FNAF 3, we see that Purple Guy hides in a secret safe room that has been built into every pizzeria. A room that's hidden to customers and invisible to the animatronics programming. During the minigames that occur between nights, we see Shadow Freddy lead the other animatronics to this secret room, only to cause them to glitch out and then get torn apart by Purple Guy. This supernatural origin story is how Shadow Freddy is able to enter the safe room when other animatronics can't. How he's able to lead you to that room in the first place when other animatronics wouldn't be able to see.
Wait, did I see that? I just always assumed Follow Me was like the purple guy. Or am I wrong? Okay, but why would, if that is Shadow Freddy, I guess, why would that lead you to Purple Guy? Or is it like, here, Purple Guy's here, go like kill him or something, but then you can't because of your programming?
See it based on their programming, and even why he leads you there, knowing that Purple Guy attacking you will eventually free your soul.
Or that. Okay. But why is Purple Guy doing that, man? Why you need hobbies?
It's also why there's no Purple Freddy suit when you do finally enter that room. It's not an alternate Purple Guy costume like many believe, it's an apparition. Suck on that, Harry Potter, I knew someone would apparate eventually. It also explains why Shadow Bonnie's minigame in FNAF 3 always starts on stage 01, the spring suits, and why it's the one animatronic we could...
01, the spring suits. And I guess, yeah, I never thought about why the hell we're playing as this weird thing either, really. And there's Balloon Boy.
Troll that has the ghostly ability to glitch, fly, and teleport. As we concluded last episode, this is also the point in the timeline of the first missing children's incident, the one we learn about via newspaper clippings in Five Nights 1. So, based on the newspaper clipping evidence we have, we know that the mauve murderer dressed in one of the suits lured children to a back room and killed them. He's starting to develop his signature, but one nagging detail FNAF theorists have been wondering is what suit does he use for his disguise?
A yellow one, right? Because of FNAF 2, someone used a spare in the back.
The answer? Golden Bonnie. Why? Well, remember the phone guy saying the faulty suits were being retired to an appropriate location. There's a high likelihood they're being stored in one of the safe rooms in the restaurants. Plus, we hear in FNAF 2 that the purple guy has a habit of using a yellow suit.
We had a spare in the back, a yellow one.
But why not Golden Freddy? Phone guy tells us so at the beginning of Night 5 in FNAF 3.
Management has also been made aware that the Spring Bonnie animatronic has been noticeably moved.
My, what an oddly specific detail to include, Scott Cawthon. And remember, these tapes that play in FNAF 3 date all the way back to the first pizzeria location.
Oh, so, wait, but not the diner, right? I keep mixing up with the diner. So, the purple guy used this spring thing for every murder. I always just assumed it was gonna, like, you just get whatever you can get and then you do it. But so that is like ironic that what happens to purple guy in the third game. I guess that's kind of like a poetic kind of justice for the end of that. But okay, so it's always the Golden Bonnie, I suppose.
Which is why this detail is so important. It reflects Purple Guy starting to develop his signature killing pattern. From there, we know the rest of the story. Purple Guy kills the kids, stuffs the bodies into the suits to hide them, but as we read the paper, is caught on camera and arrested. Meanwhile, the puppet gives life to the children, and the angry spirits possess the robots. Or is that really how it goes?
Is that really how it goes? We got the 5, which is also interesting, and the puppet is just kind of chilling in the back. It's not the puppet, but it's actually technically the puppeteer for these people.
Let's go back to the Give Gifts, Give Life minigame. The children are lying there dead, and the puppet first tries to give them presents. Weird, right? Weird until you consider that his place is at the prize corner. Giving presents is the only thing he knows that can make children happy. It's a reflex. Remember, this is still a child spirit in this puppet, but when that doesn't work, the puppet goes around one more time and does the only other thing it can think of: put the bodies into the suits. You heard that right. In trying to save the children, he's the one hiding them in the animatronic suits.
Hiding them in... okay.
Not the killer like we've been assuming. But then what about the 5th child, as there's only 4 here? Well, as we pointed out last time, the 5th child is there too, appearing at the very end of the minigame and taking the role of Golden Freddy. But
wait, I wonder, so the puppet accidentally kind of like... Well, I guess it could also like be... Because I was saying, like, the calling card pretty much is like the purple guy stuffing the children in the suits. But if that's not the case, that would also explain why the first time it doesn't happen. Because the first time, okay, and then only once the puppet is around, that's when the kids were started to be found in the suits, maybe, which could kind of make this also the case. Okay.
Remember, Golden Freddy is a decommissioned spring-lock suit at this point, deemed too unsafe to be functional. The reason he's slumped over and can't move like the rest is that his endoskeleton has been taken out. He's in suit mode, not free-roaming mode. He physically doesn't have the mechanisms in place to stand up and move. Possessed or no, a dead child's spirit just can't give a boneless suit the ability to stand. This also explains the lone naked endoskeleton that appears occasionally in both Five Nights 2 and Five Nights 1. An endoskeleton that once
Dude, I hate that. Was that little crab or something?
belonged to Golden Freddy. Whew. I know I made you wait for this one, so I knew I had to make it count. Heck, if there ain't a lot to cover. Still with me? Good, because we're ready for our next location.
Okay.
See, since the puppet hid the bodies, no one knows they're in the suits until they start oozing and smelling. Which, as we see in the papers, eventually gets the place shut down for health violations. The company tries to recover from, quote, the tragedy that took place there many years ago, but can't, and eventually is forced to shut its doors for good.
Which I have to say though, it's a little silly knowing like now in this year how far the franchise goes, both in real life and in fiction. Like how the owner has to be like a billionaire to like write off like ignore all the lawsuits or whatever, and then how does the franchise like only get bigger and bigger? Maybe it's just like I don't know, I don't know, but it's a little silly, I guess.
This leads to the trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Finally, we're actually going to talk about a game in the series. Seriously, can you believe we've been going this whole time on locations that aren't even settings for the 3 main games? That is why this lore is so challenging, but also so interesting. Anyway, forgotten, dismantled, deactivated. These are the words you see at the beginning of the trailer. Back when the debate about whether this game was a sequel or a prequel to the first game, these words made it seem like a follow-up, that everything had been shut down since the first game.
True, like everything about the game was like meant to trick you, which is kind of impressive.
But it wasn't. These words are a reference to the business being closed down after that first missing children's incident. That's why posters everywhere in Five Nights 2 are all about the brand new Fazbear Pizza. It's the grand reopening after years of being out of business. That's also why the new toy animatronics have built-in facial recognition software to a criminal database.
And these, like, maybe this is like gonna be later on, but I guess at the point of this theory as well, maybe the video is gonna get into it. But like, is this only this thing is just messing up? Because Phone Guy also says none of them are acting right. Maybe it's still paranormal, or maybe it's just like a glitch in the things.
They need to be careful to prevent another incident. But, as we know, it doesn't work. As we see in the Save Them minigame, 5 more children get killed in this new location. We know it's the new location because the minigame map's layout perfectly matches this new Fazbear
business. Oh, really? Okay. Wait, and there's like a whole stage and everything? Is that like the mangle or something? Okay.
We also know it couldn't have happened earlier in the timeline, as both the old animatronics and new toy robots are presented in the game. But this time, the puppet's solution isn't saving the kids, it's stopping the killer.
Yeah.
He enlists the help of Freddy to try and SAVETHEM, leading the bear to the killer's location. Except Purple Guy came prepared, equipped with not a phone.
I mean, I assume this is like I was thinking it does look like a phone, to be fair, but it probably is like a hand. It's purple. It's probably like supposed to be a creepy monster hand that's like, look at me. I mean, look at this thing. Is terrifying.
But rather something to help him tamper with the animatronics.
A lightsaber?
He knows that something fishy is going on with these robots because he's been watching, studying. The puppet wants Freddy to save them, to which the killer's answer is only this: you can't. So how did the purple guy manage it when he had been caught years before? What about the bite of 87? How do FNAF 1 and 3 fit in? And most importantly of all, who is the purple guy? All
crazy
that
dude
next week. Don't worry, I'll come back. I always do. In the meantime, it's all just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.
God damn it, man.
Make sure you don't miss part 2 by clicking subscribe. Well, honestly, you still might miss it. The subscribe button is really just a glorified bookmark button. But still, it's the best you're gonna get, so might as well do it. And while you're at it, you know what else you should click on? The link in the description for some free food delivered straight to your door, courtesy of NatureBox.
Pistachio.
Honestly, I love this service. NatureBox delivers boxes of snacks straight to your door. It's like having a year-long Santa Claus giving you tasty presents, or like those care packages your parents send you when you're away in school. It's awesome. And it's free if you go to naturebox.com/madpack.
Don't know if that's
or
inactive,
click
but
that
okay.
link. They have over 100 snacks to choose from.
Oh, look
Even
at that,
as I
man.
write, I'm munching on some lemon tea biscuits and strawberry figgy bars. Seriously, look, here they are, so you know it's something I've used myself.
Okay.
Anyway, it's free food that doesn't require you to leave your couch or break your game theory marathon. Sounds like a win-win to me. So check out naturebox.com/MattPat and start snacking.
Okay. Hell yeah. Thumbs up, man. And okay, that was Game Theory, FNAF Mystery Solved Part 1. So that was only Part 1. I think we got 3. We're gonna have 3 in total. Even though the second one is like kind of split into 2, so technically 2. But we're gonna watch it all. Okay, I have to admit, I got a little confused halfway through. Because it started off by talking about FNAF 3. With like, I think the new minigames with Shadow Bonnie. But then it kind of like sneakily switched over to FNAF 2. And because the FNAF 3 and FNAF 2 minigames are so similar, I was like kind of confused. But okay, so the FNAF 2 is where the puppet tries to save the souls and getting the souls. Because maybe the puppet is undoing like their mistake. You know, if it's true that the puppet stuffed the kids inside, and then the puppet leads the costumes to the killer so that the killer frees the souls, and then the souls are already free in FNAF 3, maybe. I mean, we're gonna watch it, but I also have to say I like how that's kind of tragic, man. You know, it's not just the purple guy, but it's like the kids, the souls, also doing some messed up stuff, but without like wanting, like almost being forced into this situation, which is kind of messed up all around, but you know, it makes for a good story. And now, part 2. Let's go. The end. True. The end of the original trilogy. Oh no, it's creepy time, man. Purple guy. You hacking the video. Oh dude, is this the actual intro? Or is this just a little purple guy, man? It was creepy, man, like creepypasta.
Hello, Internet.
Hello.
Welcome to Game Theory. We may not have made FNAF, but I like to think we've at least made it a bit more interesting.
Very
so
true.
in part 1 of this
I mean,
long-awaited
definitely.
all questions answered FNAF theory, we covered everything from the origins of the shadow animatronics, to the reason for Golden Freddy's ghostly behavior, to proof of what suit the killer uses. We clarified the timeline and even went so far as to dispel the myth that the killer is the one shoving the bodies into the suits.
I mean, to be fair, did it really dispel the myth? I mean, maybe it's actually canon. I feel like that's still a theory because, like, I remember like one main point with like the minigame. If that's the case, though, that is pretty cool. I won't lie. I think that actually makes just the story more dark. If the child was actually kind of also involved, I mean, that's just messed up.
Click here if you missed it to get caught up.
Don't worry.
I'll wait. This is a pausable video after all. But today we're covering the major questions from the franchise, the final bits of the timeline, the ending of the game, and most importantly of all, the identity of the purple guy. So enough intro, let's cut to the chase. When we left things off, there had been another round of murder done in Fazbear Pizza. Purple guy had once again used a gold
Dude, the freaking bandage, I can't. Okay.
Bonnie suit to lure in another set of 5 kids and kill them, as depicted in the Save Them minigame from FNAF 2. The place gets closed for investigation a few days later, but the one thing that practically everyone overlooks in this location is that it gets reopened. In FNAF 2, the Night 1 phone call welcomes you to your new summer job at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Hello and welcome to your new summer job at the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
Summer job. And yet, the paycheck at the end of the week reads November. There is not a single place in the world where November is a summer month. Not one. Meaning that these tapes, all these tapes, are pre-recorded. And honestly, that shouldn't be a surprise. Phone Guy's calls are recordings in every game. In FNAF 1, before Phone Guy dies, he says he's glad he recorded these messages when he did.
I'm kind of glad that I recorded my messages for you.
And then in FNAF 3, they find the old training tapes the Phone Guy made.
First of all, we found some vintage audio training cassettes. Dude, these are like prehistoric. I think they were like training tapes
In short,
Dude, that I don't know, man. That guy, I don't know if he comes back, but it's funny, man. Look at this dude, though. That's creepy.
all of Phone Guy's messages are unstuck in time, not recorded anytime near your tenure as security guard. That includes the ones in FNAF 2 talking about children going missing. The pizzeria isn't being shut down for an investigation of some missing children the week you happen to be working there.
Wait,
You're
really?
listening to old tapes meant for the night security guard from months ago.
No, but who's gonna record, like... Didn't you get the memo? Or is FNAF 2... No, but all of them are recordings?
Need more proof? Night 6's call references a birthday party happening as the last event before the building closes. But what decorations do we see put up throughout the building for the entirety of the week you're working there? Happy birthday banners. Confusing? You betcha. Game-changing? Absolutely. This means that both Jeremy and Fritz, the characters you play as throughout FNAF 2...
Oh, Fritz? Okay, wait. Oh, okay. Okay.
aren't the killer purple guy at all. They were both working in November, after the yellow suit investigation and the killer getting charged. Which brings us to the other key point in the timeline, the bite of 87. Ever since we heard about this mysterious frontal lobe nibble on that first fateful night at Freddy's, we wanted to know more about this bizarre attack, the one that ends up resulting in animatronics no longer being allowed to walk around during the day. But now, 3 games in, we do know more. We know it took place in the location of FNAF 2 based on the 1987 date on Jeremy's paycheck. And furthermore, the newspaper clipping that ends FNAF 2 gives us a clue that it's the bite which closes this version of the restaurant.
It's a bite. But the recordings were in the past. Huh.
Not some serial killing. Quote, after being open a few short weeks, the restaurant is closing its doors, the article says, with the new animatronics being scrapped for possible malfunction. That's game designer Scott Cawthon telling us that one of the new toy animatronics bit someone during the day. Why else would the new robots be scrapped while the old ones get kept for possible reorganization? Well, outside of an obvious need to retcon why these new robots didn't appear in Five Nights 1. It's because the company considered them safer, relatively speaking. So, who's the biter?
I mean, to be fair, I guess, unless I get it wrong, like, not the old animatronics don't... Like, that's the thing, the old animatronics are perfectly fine. They're just unlucky because, like, there's paranormal stuff and, like, serial killing happening. And if what I said is true... Only the new animatronics are actually the defective ones, because they try to like kill you for no reason, and they like with the bite and something. Okay.
Well, it's none other than the pile of scraps and parts, Mangle. The most obvious clue is the animatronic's unhinged jaw. The frontal lobe is the biggest part of the human brain, and the size and shape of the other toy robots' mouths just wouldn't be able to handle the size of the human head, especially when you compare it to the Mangle's narrow snout and wide open mouth. There's also Mangle's sharper teeth and...
But isn't Mangle like literally Foxy? Though, like pretty much, or I guess not, maybe.
Potential angle of attack. As shown by its jump scare, Mangle goes for the top of the head. And who got bit? Well, there isn't enough evidence to say definitively, but your most likely candidate would be fan favorite Jeremy Fitzgerald. Jeremy passes the test, and on his paycheck at the end of the week, he's welcomed into the family, presumably getting moved to day shift. Fritz gets hired to replace him on day 7, but then promptly gets fired for tampering with the animatronics. That means he's not likely the one to get bit, and instead the person who follows him on day shift is, leaving Jeremy as the most likely frontal lobeless candidate. But regardless of whether it's Jeremy or some other customer we've never met, someone gets bit, the restaurant closes for good, and as the newspaper clippings show, the old animatronics go into storage awaiting a smaller location with a lower budget. Fast forward to the 90s and FNAF 1. We know it's the 90s based on the hourly rate of the paycheck received by Mike Schmidt, security guard extraordinaire from the first game, something we proved in our first Five Nights video. And now we can breathe a sigh of relief, because this was the beautiful time long ago, last August, when the games weren't so complicated, when the biggest mysteries were a game-crashing gold bear and the words, "It's me." No death minigames, no puppets, no need to shoehorn in extra overcomplicated storylines.
I mean,
that all would come later.
I mean, yeah.
When the first game became a smash hit and got itself some sequels. And boy, did those sequels make things complicated.
I mean, I'm sorry for like this actually like I don't know, man. It's like it shouldn't be that complicated though, but because it constantly jumps between the times. Like that's the most difficult thing for me to like kind of understand right now in the video. But it shouldn't be too bad. So we have the creepy animatronics. 5 of them. I mean, yeah, sure. That's like Golden Freddy is always here. Golden Freddy is like not like one of those creepy ones because Golden Freddy is just kind of scuffed. Okay, would be cool to have this. Maybe that comes later to have this, and then like the other animatronics for the diner and stuff. You only have like the 2 golden ones, the golden boys, I guess. The Bite of 87, and that's all in the past. But in the record that throws such a big wrench in all of my understanding. If the phone calls are not happening at the same time, I guess all of them are super delayed. Like, it's all kind of crazy, man.
Both featured 8-bit minigames revealing more details about this location from the original game. First things first, we know that the purple guy kills 5 children here. We see it in the Foxy Go 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 minigame from FNAF 2. Foxy runs past a grinning purple guy to see 5 dead bodies.
Yeah.
Sorry, no fireworks this time, Foxy. And how do we know it's the FNAF 1 location? Well, it's the only time in the game when Foxy's stage, Pirate Cove, is located to the west of a dining area. See how he performs for the children by running to the right? That matches the map layout of the FNAF 1 pizzeria. Man. We also know from the FNAF 3 minigames that this is where the purple guy dies inside a golden Springlock Bonnie suit in a safe room near the back. One built so that it would never show up on camera, conveniently explaining why it never appeared in the first game. But hold on, weren't those safe rooms sealed up a long time ago? I mean, we touched on this last episode, but the old recordings of Phone Guy we listened to throughout FNAF 3 say that these rooms are being closed off, discontinued, and will never be mentioned again. Why would a location 20 years later possess a safe room unless it was the same building as the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza
Oh my god, dude! Nothing make. If this is actually like going there, like I gotta log off, man. This is like it was just. Oh my god! Just as I think I'm starting to understand it. Oh my goodness! Wait, I mean, but it's not too bad. Maybe it's actually good. Wait, no, but if it's the first game though.
Location. That's why it's in such disrepair when we see it in the FNAF 3 minigames. Boarded up with rats on the floor. It's been closed down for years. Which also means the dead kids from the Foxy Go 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 minigame aren't another set of new victims. Cause seriously, at this point, the killer would have made his way through like a short bus full of pizza-hungry children. No, those kids are the first 5 dead kids. The ones who would eventually possess Old Bonnie, Chica, Freddy, Foxy, and Golden Freddy. I mean, look, if the animatronics were possessed at this point, don't you think Foxy would be attacking Purple Guy rather than just running past him to perform for some dead kids? This also explains the random cutscene from FNAF 2 where the puppet's looking into Freddy's eyes. You can tell by the tables in the background and the design of both Bonnie and Chica that this is the FNAF 1 location with the old animatronics on stage. But it's not a flash forward to the game's next location, but rather a flashback to the moment the puppet brought these characters.
Holy crap, man. I mean, if that's true, I actually really like this because just undeniably, the idea of like Purple Guy always coming back, killing some kids, and then like next game happens again, a little ridiculous. I mean, at this point, maybe with how many games we have, maybe that still happens anyway. I got no clue like what craziness happens, but I hope that's kind of true because that would be kind of like that would be a big shocker, man. That would be like the bombshell. I would like that.
These children to life. Okay, but that's just tying together some loose ends in the story. We're interested in how this whole thing ends, and those FNAF 3 minigames give us the conclusion we're looking for.
Yeah,
these flashback minigames show Purple Guy dismantling the animatronics from the security of the safe room one by one. But in doing so, he's unwittingly releasing the spirits of his former victims. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Golden Freddy.
And that is like that was the plan all along, which is also kind of cool.
When their powers combine, they are able to scare Purple Guy into the Golden Bonnie Springlock suit, which fails, crushes him pretty much to the point of death, though notice we never actually see him die, and the spirits fade away. Golden Bonnie, with Purple Guy inside, now known as Springtrap, rots away in the safe room for years until he's finally uncovered by the founders of Fazbear's Fright from the third game.
Imagine, dude, like you open up the thing, you just lock it back up, man. You don't even mess around with that, man. You just go to sleep and never think about it ever again.
The discovery of Springtrap, this haunted house attraction inspired by the years of mystery and murder of the pizzeria chain, finally has their first real animatronic, who then haunts the player for 5 nights and a nightmare night until the place burns down due to faulty wiring.
I don't think I ever got that. Funnily enough, I only got like the bad ending and like the good ending. I think this is like the neutral ending. But I was told, and that's also pretty much like could be considered an ending if it's all just gone, you know, burn it all to the ground. Like you can't salvage this franchise. I mean, in fiction.
The end. Take a bow. It's finally over. Well, kinda. We're still left with one final, seemingly impossible question to answer. Who is the Purple Guy? After spending, I kid you not, full days plotting out all the details of this game franchise on whiteboards, talking it over with anyone who would stand to listen to me ramble on and on about fictional haunted robots, and just looking at it from every possible angle, all logic points to it being...
I knew it, man. Sorry for the shameless cliffhanger here. What was it? Okay. Do a copyright strike? Yeah. Can upload this longer than 15 minutes? This one is 18 plus minutes. I hope 18 plus minutes. I mean, we did have some almost like sus content before, but sure. Make you guys waiting longer for this. Thanks for understanding. Click here. Video's up now for you to watch. Okay. So yeah. So kind of a bit of a technical difficulty, but we're definitely gonna watch that. And here we are, the final part of the massive FNAF theory. And I was thinking about in the meantime, so the FNAF 2 minigames are the ones with the puppet. Is that right? And you see like that is when save them, right? Save them you can't. But then the Purple Guy deconstructs the things and actually does inadvertently kind of save. Like, it's kind of ironic. He almost saves the souls, like, that are trapped. And then the phone call of the phone guy, someone used one of the suits, a yellow one, and none of them are acting right. None of the old ones or none of the new ones, and no killing happened? Does the phone call talk about the deconstruction of the old ones, or are they killing? I don't know, man, but if that's kind of the truth, then I'm actually kind of hooked. Let's go. That would be very interesting.
Real animatronic, who then haunts the player for 5 nights and a nightmare night.
Got a little bit of a...
burns down due to faulty wiring. The end. Take a bow.
Okay.
It's finally over.
Straight back to the video.
Kinda. We're still left with one final, seemingly impossible question to answer. Who is the Purple Guy? After spending, I kid you not, full days plotting out all the details of this game franchise on whiteboards, talking it over with anyone who would stand to listen to me ramble on and on about
lots of people listening to you,
robots, and just looking at it from every possible angle, all logic points to it being... the phone guy.
Oh my god. Okay. Wait, really though? Even after FNAF 3? Because FNAF 3 happens in after FNAF 1? Oh, but how?
And no, not because I made a theory about it and refused to let it die. Honestly, I couldn't care less if that last video was wrong. At this point, I just care about the truth, and Phone Guy makes the most logical sense. I know your complaints, and I promise you, if you stick with me, you'll be convinced.
Okay, man. Like, whether it's right or not, I would have been like, no way, right, back then. And because I'm right now, and no way. So I just want to see, like, what points to it.
First, there's the circumstantial evidence I presented during my FNAF 2 theory. Phone Guy's admitted love of Foxy being reflected by the smiling purple guy sprite during the Foxy Go 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 minigame. His distrust of the puppet, a creature haunted by his first victim that we see time and time again trying to bring a stop to his killing spree. His admitted role as a security guard, and even the weird phone-like object in his hand from the Save Them minigame. But there's even more evidence when we consider Five Nights 3. Consider this. He's the only person in the game who knows about the safe rooms. As we've mentioned before, all the safe rooms were sealed up back in the Springlock suit days, back in the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza location. Meaning every other employee coming afterward would have never even heard of these things. Phone Guy is the only character we meet who would have any knowledge of these rooms, and more importantly, of how they operate, how they're invisible to the cameras, and more importantly, to the animatronics. And that's just the beginning.
I mean, you know, to be fair, I mean, maybe everyone knows about them. Maybe that's just part of the normal thing, or maybe that's like already established that really no one knows about them.
He's also the only person who knows how to use the Springlock suits. Again.
Which is confirming that it's not him, because he did. If he knew, maybe he wouldn't have got owned in the way he did.
Once they were decommissioned, the suits were hidden away. Regardless of whether you believe that the killer used a golden Bonnie suit the whole time, or you think he used a golden Freddy suit, either way, we know for a fact the killer was using one of the yellow Springlock suits.
That's creepy.
And Phone Guy is the only character we know who had knowledge of A, where they were hidden, and B, how they were operated safely. Now, I know a lot of people have said that it couldn't have been Phone Guy because he knew better. He knew that they were dangerous and could kill him, so if he wasn't the purple guy, he wouldn't just hop into a Springtrap suit.
Although also, please, like, remember, like, I mean, if these are recordings, like, everyone should have listened to them, right? So, like, if Phone Guy, everything Phone Guy knows, everyone knows. Because the recordings are meant for, like, the security guards and stuff.
Dude, like we see depicted at the ending of FNAF 3. But there's one key detail that everyone has been overlooking, and that Scott carefully included in this game. Listen.
It's a phone call. No, I don't know. The laughing?
Hear it? There's rain. There are puddles on the ground. It's dripping from the ceiling. The killer had been using these Springlock suits safely for years, but in his panic to escape the ghosts, he failed to notice the wetness of the building around him. The killer had never encountered this problem before because the building had always been in a decent state of repair, but now it's a wreck, torn apart by age. Rain is able to seep in, something he didn't realize when he was in such a hurry to run away from the ghosts. And if moist breath can loosen the locks, you can bet some rain would make those suckers ready to snap shut. And they do, killing our killer.
I mean, to be fair, like, if you see a couple ghosts who, like, are out to get you, you know, fair enough. You might forget one or two details.
I mean, all of that makes a pretty compelling argument, almost an open and shut case, if there wasn't one final major criticism to the Phone Guy theory since the release of FNAF 3. And it's a good one. The fact that Phone Guy seems to die during his Night 4 phone call from the first game.
But he doesn't? Is this gonna be the assumption?
Hey, listen, I may not be around to send you a message tomorrow. It's been a bad night here for me.
Honestly, I'm just gonna be completely honest. I'm 100% sure back then, the biggest reason why people were like, there's no way it's the Phone Guy, is because people just love the Phone Guy too much. Like, he's such an iconic character, people were like, he's not the killer. Like, even if he's the killer, the headcanon for everyone is like, he's not the killer. Because he's just that popular.
I'm glad that I recorded my messages for you.
Oh my god, okay, I had a little ad there. Little ad break, but There we go, let's continue.
If Phone Guy was the killer, why would the robots still be active after his death and the ghosts disappear? It just wouldn't make sense unless you stop to consider the rest of FNAF 3's endings. The big twist in FNAF 3 is the inclusion of a good and bad ending. By completing the game normally, you get the bad ending, in which we see Purple Guy die in a flashback minigame, and the whole thing ends with 5 masks representing the 5 main animatronics with lights on behind their eyes.
Yep.
The good ending, meanwhile, requires using some not-so-subtly hidden clues to unlock minigames.
Good stuff.
Then basically ignoring those games, glitching them out, and giving hidden dead kids cake to...
Which is also interesting. Dude, look at Chica, man, so cute. The cake. I guess that's all just like symbolic though, you know, just giving them the cake they maybe never got. I don't know, like they're sad, you know, all poor little babies, man.
Make them happy, obviously referring to the victims of Purple Guy. Beat the game this time and the ending is largely the same, but with 1 fewer animatronic mask and no lights on. The obvious difference here is that in the good ending, the souls of the dead children have been put at peace.
Yes.
When they disappear for good.
Which is honestly like such a good ending, you know? That's why I'm like, FNAF 3 is like FNAF 3 is the end, full stop. And everything after that is like additions or prequels, I don't know. You know, but to me, like, this is this is already a really good one. We can have fun, you know, with the franchise later on, but like FNAF 3 really is, you know, pretty good in that way.
They don't go back to their animatronic bodies. But the bad ending? The lights on behind the eyes of all 5 masks mean that these guys are still active. Angry, restless spirits still haunting the robots to this day. Because here's the thing. The good ending doesn't exist until you, as the player of the 3rd installment, give cake to those kids during FNAF 3's hidden minigames.
Which I don't know if that's like real, you know, I don't think the protagonist actually does that. Or, I mean, maybe.
What you play in FNAF 1, though, is the aftermath of the bad ending, when the animatronics have killed Phone Guy, but are still out for vengeance. Yeah, you made it through those first 5 nights at Freddy's.
What? Wait, are you, like, is this supposed to be like... I mean, FNAF 3 cannot come before FNAF 1. Or maybe it does. No, it can't, right? It can't, possibly. No, it can't.
You overheard the death of the Purple Guy recorded live on the phone, but it wasn't enough. You got the bad ending. Even with the killer crippled in the back room in a spring-lock suit, the lights are still on in these animatronics. They're still roaming the halls, attacking anyone wearing that much-hated security guard outfit. People like Mike Schmidt, an innocent guy just trying to do his job at a failing pizza restaurant. And as the final nail in the coffin, what Phone Guy says in his Night 4 recording perfectly foreshadows what we see in the games.
Maybe sometime you could check inside those suits in the back room.
Back room.
I'm gonna try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad.
Okay, and that's why... but that's why he is in the suit, or where is this going?
Yeah, I always wondered what was in all those empty heads back there.
Think about what Purple Guy does. He hides in a back room, the safe room, hides in a suit, and despite getting sprung trapped, actually does hold out until someone checks. Holds out long enough for the phone dude to find the hidden safe room, recover the animatronic, and set him free in Fazbear Fright. Exactly what the Phone Guy said he'd do in his final moments. And as...
Oh my dude. I mean, at this point, I'm just trying to understand. So what's the timeline? The phone call happens in FNAF 1. And then FNAF 3 is supposed to happen, but it's only the good end, the bad ending, and the good ending is like... So this theory assumes the good ending would cancel FNAF 1?
Springtrap, he comes back in FNAF 3. Comes back like he always does.
True.
And with no real animatronics present at Fazbear's Fright, remember Springtrap is the only real one they've found, with all the rest scattered, probably located in dumps, which is why their bodies and faces are decaying. All that the spirits can do is appear as phantoms, hallucinations. Well,
yeah.
all except one. the puppet, who we see in his physical form.
I was about to say, dude. I was about to go back, like, that is like straight up the puppet. Maybe I noticed that in my playthrough, but that's interesting. Because the puppet is very important, of course.
Roaming the hallways of Fazbear Fright. So real, in fact, that we see his reflection visible in the pools of water under his feet, meaning he is there and unburnt. There's only one way to truly end this. End the murderous purple guy, burning the place to the ground. The puppet gave robots life, gave spirits peace, and finally gave the murderer the...
Look at that, man. That's nice. And it does show, you only have the 5 animatronics in the end screen. But I think this does confirm, maybe, that all 6 kind of had, like, the happy ending. You have the 6 balloons and stuff.
Bone guy, his long-deserved death. Or at least tried to. And that is the end of the Five Nights at Freddy's story. No hat, no movie, no 4th installment.
Bro, wait. I mean... Maybe that's a joke. Maybe they already know about the next installment. Or maybe that was really meant to be the ending. What's that, man? Little kitty.
What? Oh, no. No.
Oh, no.
No.
No. What happened?
No.
Oh my gosh, what happened? What's wrong?
Next FNAF? FNAF?
Look.
Hell yeah, man.
But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory.
Amazing,
Thanks for
man.
watching. Hey, if you enjoyed
Okay.
these theories, show your appreciation by subscribing to the
man,
channel.
there is a lot,
Seriously,
man.
I spent more blood, sweat, and tears on these scripts than I have on the entire 4 years of this show. Hopefully
Damn.
you liked it. Hopefully you're satisfied with
I
the
mean, I
conclusions
think it was
reached,
worth
and
it,
hopefully
probably.
you decide to subscribe as a result. Wouldn't mind it. Now then, welcome back to the Super Amazing End Card Tournament, where today I just have a simple question.
Nature-
Are you excited about a Five Nights at Freddy's movie? Click
Nature
over
box?
here to say yes.
Why?
Click over here to say no. And oh my gosh, it's Purple Guy. Watch out, he's gonna kill
What's
you.
happening? The movie's actually coming out, though. Was that known? Or is that like a joke? But okay, that was the supposed final FNAF theory right here. Very entertaining. I gotta say, lots of interesting stuff. It did get a little complicated, more complicated again than I thought. I thought I kind of did have like a good understanding, but it was very interesting to find out like the mini games were like the old locations probably. But then this is gonna haunt my night, man. This is gonna be in my nightmares. This is gonna haunt my dreams. So I personally, with what some people have told me, and with some of the like kind of weird things, I don't know about that. Like I do think FNAF 1 is just happening, and then FNAF 3 just happens. Like FNAF 1, like the timeline has to be, I mean, it says it right here, right? The timeline is 2-1-3. So how can FNAF 1, or is the FNAF 1 is after? I don't know about that. But I feel like that makes it too complicated. It's an interesting idea, but the most interesting idea is the possibility that there's only been 6 murders. Or am I missing something? Have there been more murders? That would be so interesting, though, if that's actually part of maybe it was originally part of the story. So you have the 5 creepy animatronics. I mean, they're not that creepy later on, but they're kind of creepier than the toy ones, the cute ones. The first one, the puppet, dies in the diner. And then that's it. Nothing else happens. In the second location, the 5 children are killed. And nothing happens, though. They're only killed. There's no paranormal stuff happening. The killer gets kind of caught or only accused, but there's no... They never find the bodies in the suits, because I guess no one thinks to check the suits. I don't really know. Or maybe the suits are, like, hidden away. But no, the suits are not... But the suits are not even stuffed in. How does that work? Maybe that's why they never find the suits, because the puppet accidentally hit the murder? Is that the case? Was that the bite of 87? I'm sorry, I'm having like the same kind of reaction right now. Is that the case? The murders happened in the diner. The body was found, but for some reason they just can't pin it on the purple guy. Second location. 5 more murders happen because the purple guy needs help, man. Something up with this dude. And they search for the bodies, but the puppet accidentally stuffs them in the suits, gives them life, and that's why they're never found. The puppet accidentally like helps the purple guy plan the escape and everything. And then the spirits are alive in the suits, in the 5 suits, and just nothing really happens. Second game happens. Purple guy is still around, maybe searching for the suits. Purple guy tries to hide the bodies because purple guy is like, where did the bodies go? Maybe purple guy is looking for the bodies. And the puppet is once again trying to help, but the puppet leads the animatronics to a purple guy. Purple guy whatever them, like opens them up and breaks them, setting the souls free once again. And that is the phone call. Someone stole a yellow one. But why would he have to steal the yellow one though if he's not killing? Maybe he's still killing as well. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe there are newspaper clippings which are like there are killings happening, but those killings never get possessed for some reason. Which is why if there's only 5 or I guess in total 6 killings, that would explain the paranormal stuff. Everyone who dies gets to be a spirit in the Freddy location, but only 6 people have been killed in the first place. And then the spirits are free, so we're in the Bite of 80, we're in FNAF 2 right now. There's also 2 co-workers apparently who are the shadow people, but they apparently don't show up more. That's just like, maybe that's to show that really everyone who dies turns into a spirit. Maybe that, it's not just the children who are killed by the serial killer, even the co-workers turn into the shadow figures. And then FNAF 2, okay, so purple guy comes back, messes around with the animatronics, none of them are working, none of them are acting right, how the phone guy said. And then the toy animatronics get owned, they get removed, even though, because they're just glitching, they're kind of scuffed. The 5 animatronics come back, FNAF 1 happens, the 3rd location, or the 4th location at this point. But that is still the same dead children. Yeah, and no other children have been killed, because in FNAF 1 no one dies, right? That's also the case. In FNAF 1, it's just the animatronics who are still haunting away, and even the puppet is still floating just around, just as... But no, that doesn't make sense, because why are the spirits back... Why are the spirits back in the bodies if they were removed from the bodies in the second or before the second game? Is purple guy already dead by then? What the hell, man? Is purple guy already dead by then? Dude, that breaks my mind, man. FNAF 1 happened. So FNAF 1 can almost, I think, be ignored. And then FNAF 3 happens. They find purple guy in the spring suit. You help the souls finally be put to rest and get their revenge. Kill purple guy, turns him into a zombie kind of bunny, I don't know. Entire thing burns down. All of the evidence, everything dead pretty much. I mean, we know that more stuff happens later on, but initially maybe that was planned. Like the purple guy's dead, burned down. Spirits are free. I don't know what happens with the shadow figures. Maybe the 2 co-workers, because they help, right? They do help you. Maybe the 2 co-workers also get set free because of that. Because they kind of did their purpose, more or less. Maybe something like that. That to me, maybe there's I still need some bits and pieces here and there that I don't understand. But if that is the case, I feel like that's a really good initial story, man. For FNAF 1, 2, and 3. You know, FNAF 4, I've played it. It seems very disconnected. But I'm sure it's gonna have like crazy lore drops for like other like bonus lore and stuff. But for the beginning, I feel like that's like a solid first storyline for the franchise. You know, I think Phone Guy is just a poor guy. You know, another coworker. Maybe Phone Guy also gets to be free. You know, maybe Phone Guy is for some. But no, No. Maybe Phone Guy is a spirit too. Technically, Phone Guy should be a spirit if the other 2 co-workers are a spirit. Or maybe the shadow ones are completely different and they had no idea at that point. Maybe in another game it's revealed. But I do like that. I think I can kind of like, I'm rambling now, I'm ranting, but I do feel like that's kind of cool. I kind of understand the story now. I feel like almost, unless FNAF 4 somehow adds to the lore, but I really can't think of how, because FNAF 4 is such an isolated incident, right? Like I don't know if it adds anything to this story, at least. For sure, later on, for sure, but to this story does feel isolated and like, bam, there you go. And I do like that. I feel like I can almost move on maybe even with the games, because I've got so much idea, like so much info now about that I had no idea about. But okay, man, that was, I guess, the first 3 games with Game Theory, showing a lot of secrets. I'm so surprised. Like, I was thinking it's gonna just show off all the mini games. So I was a little worried when the first video was already like assuming you know all the mini games, you got all the mini games, which thankfully I did. If I didn't get the mini games, I would have been hella confused. So good thing, you know, I went for the mini games on my own. But okay, man, guys, that was very interesting, very crazy, and it only gets crazier, but this is already a crazy look into the FNAF lore, into the franchise's story here. But, I mean, up to FNAF 3, at least, we don't have a happy ending, but it's a bit of a bittersweet ending, but at least it's like closure, I guess, you know, for all the characters pretty much, which is more than you can probably get right now, because now everything has gone crazy afterwards. But guys, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.